Hello and welcome to TelecomTV. We are reporting in from Mobile World Congress 2015 here in Barcelona in Spain. As you can hear, we are on the shop floor as it were, and it's evening, getting on towards beer o'clock. People are getting quite excited. There's been some kind of an announcement with music down there, so we're having to talk a bit louder than normal, but we will manfully struggle through it all. Anyway, I'm delighted to be joined by two friends with us who I've spoken to before and delighted to be with again. On my far left, Gunther, who is the CTO, Chief Technology Officer with Telekom Austria Group, and on my immediate left, somebody who's becoming an old friend indeed, Martyn Taylor, the CTO of Metaswitch. Martyn's probably better known to those of you who've seen our popular two-pint problem as the sort of Sherlock Holmes character of those days. It looks quite Holmesish, you must admit. In fact, I'm surprised you didn't say to me when you came in, you have been in Barcelona, I perceive. But there we go. Let's get into the meat of this, gentlemen. I want to start with you, Gunther, if I might. Can you tell us about this virtualized VoLTE, voice over LTE network stack that's in VIP Mobile's network in Serbia? How did that come about?
Well, thank you for having me here, and I'm very happy to tell you that we see Telekom Austria Group on a network function virtualization journey. As part of that journey, we have done several trials with several innovative companies, and we did a trial together with Metaswitch in September last year in Serbia on a virtual IMS. And having done that trial and having seen the success of that trial, we said it would be good to have a proof point that communication, voice or data can be done end-to-end via a virtualized infrastructure. And so we came to the idea of doing this fully virtualized stack in Serbia together with our partners, with Metaswitch, Connectem and Open Cloud.
Thank you. Why was it significant to you that you virtualized an entire network stack with several vendors working together, as opposed to rather than just doing one or two of the functions?
I think the significant thing is that you show that it's really possible to have these synergies across functions. So you run all of the functions on the same virtualized environment. It's all the same virtual machines running all these functions, and it's working in a live network. That's what we wanted to prove.
So I just want to get this clear for the viewers, people who are watching this. To be clear, your virtualized voice over LTE stack is running in a live network with real customer traffic now. It's not a proof of concept or a trial, that's what it is.
That is true, that's what it is, but we have to admit that the amount of traffic currently flowing through it is rather low because there's not a lot of voice over LTE capable handsets out there. But as their number grows, also the traffic will grow.
The system is there to support it as soon as the handsets come.
Exactly, exactly.
Got it. Martyn, what was Metaswitch's role in VIP Mobile's network?
So we provided the kind of middle layer of the stack, the session control layer.
Yep.
That included our project Clearwater, virtualized IMS core,
yes.
Perimeter session border controllers, and we had a hand in integrating and bringing the whole thing to life. I mean, we were all involved. It was a great team effort, actually. The representatives of the different vendors, troubleshooting interop issues together. And this thing came together very, very quickly. I mean, it's just a few weeks we managed to get the whole thing stood up and working.
That's good going.
Yeah.
Back to you again, Gunther, for one more question. What does Telekom Austria's success with NFV mean for the industry, do you think?
Well, I believe what we have showcased there is a useful experience and will increase the momentum of the virtualization movement in the telecom industry. So we see a lot of interest in the trial. Other operators are interested to participate in similar things. And I believe also internally it gave us a big boost for the motivation of our own employees to come on this journey into a new and efficient world of virtualized telecom network.
It's getting louder. It's Mark Zuckerberg just rehearsing for tonight's show. So he's warbling on. But we shall continue. Over to you again, Martyn. It seems to me that we've got two big important trends going on here, open sourced and virtualized network functions. Is that what you think is the new reality for the companies? This is the way things are going to be going forward when you build a communications network?
Well, I certainly think network operators have recognized the value of open source building blocks and open source platforms. I don't think we're necessarily going to see a lot of open source virtualized network functions. because I think from a vendor's point of view, that's where most of their value and their intellectual property lies. I think most of that will be commercial. Maybe Project Clearwater is a bit of an outlier, but certainly the underlying infrastructure, and in the case of this trial, using a lot of open source building blocks in the cloud management and so on. So yeah, that trend is definitely here to stay.
Final question to the end as we continue to fight against the opera. Metaswitch has described itself here at Mobile World Congress as a network software provider.
Yep.
What sets a network software provider apart from a traditional network equipment provider?
So I think we try to set these kinds of terms up in clear opposition to one another, right? So traditionally telcos have bought equipment from a network equipment provider. The future is NFV, and the equipment is essentially generic. It's generic switching hardware and generic server platforms and so on. So the value is in the software. So when it comes to building services and deploying services, once you've got that platform in place, you need the software for those services, sure. And that's where we fit in. What makes a good network software provider? I think one of the characteristics is we know how to do in software what the traditional NEP has done in hardware. Right. So it's solving some of the challenging problems in software without relying on hardware as a crutch, and that in itself requires a lot of skill and know-how and experience. But I think the other thing is that customers are going to look for a degree of track record and provenness and dependability, and we can show a great track record in highly available software solutions supporting mission-critical services, voice and messaging and so on, with better than 5 nines availability in pure software, and again that requires a good deal of know-how and experience.
Well, thank you both very much indeed. Interesting story. It's fascinating to see how this show reflects the changes in the industry. I mean, if you just think back a couple of years when NFV wasn't even a gleam in the maddest scientist's eye, and where we are now. This used to be about mobile phones and applications. We've now got over there Oral-B intelligent toothbrushes. That's how things are changing. I tell you, it's really, really interesting. Thank you very much for coming in. Gunther Ottendorfer from Telekom Austria and Martyn Taylor from Metaswitch. Gentlemen, thank you. And we did it against the noise. We'll leave the evening to the dancers and the singers.
Time to party.
It certainly is.
Exactly.
Thank you both.
Thank you.